WP in 30, Dave. Here we go. It's our second one. So basically, if this is the first one you've listened to or watched of this is kind of a twist on what we normally do. It's a much shorter episode. We're going to limit it to right around 30 minutes. And it also exists on YouTube so that you can, if you're into this sort of thing, watch us Talking Dead. In this case, Talking Dead and Company, because just yesterday I saw Dead and Company in Cincinnati. Dave, you were supposed to be there with me, man. We were supposed to see the show together.
Supposed to. It was going to be a company trip out to see DNC. I got the worst timing with COVID ever. Made it 2 years, and I had to miss both a wedding and a concert. Sucks.
It does. There's just no way around it. It really does. But focusing on the positive, you have your health.
I felt fine, asymptomatic. Obviously just wasn't going to travel and all that stuff
and put others at risk. Yeah.
Right.
Which is the right way to be. And, the most important thing is that you are happy and healthy and already on the mend. It's just, this is only a few days after you testing positive. And so, you didn't think it was right to go, which is, again, right move. But the downside was that you didn't get to see the show in person. You watched it on the live stream, which was still good. And we thought that it was a really good show among a set of good shows on the 2022 tour. And also, I really enjoyed talking with so many of you yesterday at the concert that we thought that we would do this as just kind of a bonus episode. So what we're going to talk about during this show is, what's happened on the tour so far. I'm going to talk about the venue, what I thought about that. We're going to talk together about the show itself. We're going to talk about what's to come on the tour, including predictions about that. Then we're going to say goodbye. So that's what's going to happen before we bid you good night. So where did I say we were going to start?
I think what we think of the tour so far.
Okay. Yeah. What have you thought? We're 7 shows in now.
I think that the playing is a little less crisp than 2021, but I think the set list construction and selection is a little more diverse and a little more unique this year. I think 2021 might be a special year in terms of playing, but I really like what they're doing with how they're crafting sets, like opening with China Rider Night 2 in Colorado. Just so cool.
Yeah. The set lists have been pretty inspired. I think that they've been doing a lot of unique things, and we got a taste of that right off the bat in LA when they opened set 2 with Scarlet China Rider Fire, which is just wild. We're 7 shows in. They've yet to play a Scarlet Begonias Into Fire on the Mountain at this point in the tour.
The 2 times they've played it, they've really bookended it around 2 other songs in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then other things with the set lists, like last night I saw a I Need a Miracle Coming Out of Space, which was wild. Hell in a Bucket very late in the show, which you don't really hear.
A late shakedown too.
Yeah, yesterday. That's also
pre-drum space shakedown, which is weird.
Yeah, they've been just kind of throwing convention out the window and just doing unique and interesting and cool things with the set list. I totally agree. I also agree with your point about the playing being a little bit less crisp than it was last year. And Dave's dog barking in the background. That's all right. So last year, this is, take this with a grain of salt. I don't know anything. I'm just a person watching these shows, listening to the shows and reacting. But last year, I remember during I think it was the very last show of the year on the Dead Air show with Lambert and Gans that plays during the intermission when you're watching the show live. They had John Mayer on. And one of the things that he noted was that he thought that it was, how did he word it? He basically said that he thought that it was making an impact on the band that they couldn't have any guests backstage at any of the shows. And so he was like, we're just playing for each other and for the crowd right now. We're not trying to impress anyone. And even if we would say, well, when we have a guest, we're not trying to impress them either. Subconsciously, he was saying that he thinks that there might be a difference. And so the way that they were playing was really just like, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but more pure maybe. And then the other thing, and I've heard both him and O'Teal talk about this, they were so locked down last year that their opportunity to play at these concerts was like literally their only like social interaction. Their only like fun on the road was when they got to go on stage and play. And now things are much more loose and open. I don't think I saw anyone with a mask at the show yesterday. And, you know, obviously it's an outdoor venue, so I wasn't expecting to. But last year was an outdoor venue. I saw them at 2 outdoor venues, and there were, you know, a not insignificant number of people who were wearing masks at those shows. So we are just kind of in a different place with COVID this year. And I think that that has kind of had an impact on the playing as well, possibly. I don't think the playing's been bad, though. I know that you don't either.
No, not at all. As we'll talk about from last night in Cincy.
Yeah, with some glee, because I thought that they played so well last night. So let me quickly just tell you about the venue since you didn't get to go there. I posted a picture of it on our Twitter page. It's one of, I think, the best pictures I've ever taken. As far as like, thank you. Not really credit to me, credit to the iPhone, because it's amazing how good that camera is now. But I just took a picture of the sky at, I think maybe during Deal, the set 2 opener, because the sky looked so beautiful. And I took a bunch of pictures of the sky actually, but this one was the one where you can really see all the people who are on the lawn, and you can see the kind of paint by numbers evening sky. It was really, really cool. Very pretty. The venue is, you know, kind of a classic shed outdoor amphitheater, whatever you would call it. You know, you've got the stage and then a pavilion with some seats. Pretty big pavilion. There were a number of sections. And then a pretty big lawn back behind that. The lawn's AstroTurf, which is great because it poured rain for like maybe an hour, hour and 15 minutes, from like 5 to 6 ish, something like that. It was a rain that was necessary. It was 100 degrees before the rain fell. And then after the rain passed, it was only 80 degrees, which was much more comfortable.
Yeah, much better.
Everyone was much happier to be at a show in 80-degree weather. So the venue was a great place to watch a show. Very, very scenic. The backdrop is like hilly and lush and green with a river, and you'd see boats driving by in the river, which was really cool. A couple people who I think did not have the best time, though, and I think it bears mentioning, the people who were vending on Shakedown Street. I saw a couple stories. Tony at Holy Moly Mischief, and holymolymischief.com if you'd like to buy some of his wares through his website, which is a great website. He makes awesome stuff. He posted something yesterday about some of the vendor cops kind of coming in, I think even taking some of his stuff and saying that he couldn't sell things that said summer tour, which is crazy. So that's a bummer. But also it was 1,000,000 degrees out there. You know, these folks were like sweating it out for some of them probably got there at 1 or 2 and just were sweating for 4 hours in the 100-degree 70% humidity Ohio afternoon. And then torrential downpours, lightning, thunder, the whole nine. I think there was hail. And so just a reminder, like, go support those people who are vending on Shakedown Street, whether it's Holy Moly Mischief. I had a good convo with a guy. He sells under the name Nola Dead. I'll show you actually. This badass Jerry Diver sticker that I got.
That. Yeah, that's pretty neat.
I think it's such a cool design. And he has great t-shirts that he makes that are specific to the cities. So whether it's them, whether it's someone who's selling beer or water or sandwiches, go give them some love and support them, because I'm so tired from traveling 2 states away to go watch this show. And these folks are going to every show and, you know, really working hard to make it a good experience for all of us. So quick plug for supporting Shakedown Street if you have the chance. So that was kind of the venue. Everyone was super friendly. Like everyone that I talked to, not shocking for a Dead and Co show, but still always delightful when that's the case. You get that sense of community with everyone who's going there. Something that you and I will look forward to experiencing together in a couple weeks. You didn't make it to Cincinnati, but we're going to make it to Citi Field together in New York City on July 15th and 16th. I'm just going to be there on the 16th. Are you going to be able to go for both?
Yep. Well, I mean, I hope so, unless something else unexpected crops up. But yeah, both nights in the barn in City Field. We'll be in section what 300 something.
300 something. Yeah.
Come find us in the upper level.
Yeah. People got a lot of compliments on the shirt with the Working Man's Pod logo
Hey,
yesterday. And
yeah.
some people wanted to come and talk about like, what is that? What do you guys talk about? So that was, I mean, just super fun. Don't be a stranger if you see us at that show. So anyway, yeah, venue was great. So let's talk about the show. So were you listening to the live stream or watching the live stream?
I was listening to the live stream. I didn't hop in until um, two songs before the end of set one.
Okay, so Here Comes Sunshine or Big River?
The end of Here Comes Sunshine. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So beginning of set one, band comes on stage like 15 past 7, and they opened with Let the Good Times Roll. So it was a night full of like quote unquote rarities for Dead and Co. But Let the Good Times Roll is an interesting one because they've only played that song 9 times, but it feels like way more than that because they played it 7 times last year and they'd never played it before last year.
Oh, okay.
So it feels
Gotcha.
like this isn't a rarity at all. They open with this a lot, but that's only because they did it so frequently last year and they've kind of continued that this year. Shockingly, not shockingly, surprisingly, through 7 shows, they have not played any song more than twice through the 7 shows. It makes sense. They have a deep enough songbook that could be the case.
Yeah.
But I don't think that was true last year. I mean, even the first 3 shows, you had Two Franklin's Towers alone.
Right.
They didn't play, I don't think, anything repeated through the first 3 shows, or if they did, it was, like not very regular that happened. So a lot of kind of like lesser played songs last night. You had Let the Good Times Roll, then a great Cold Rain and Snow. And then an Iko Iko, third song of the night. So Iko, they have played, according to my research, like 17 times, including last night. And last night was the 183rd Dead and Company show. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, so less than 10% of the shows are you going to get an Iko. Basically, the way the math works out, they've played it 3 times every year, pretty much. 1 year they played it 4, 1 year they played it 2. So if that holds up, we can expect 2 more Icos by the end of this tour. I was super happy to have it last night. It's just a fun song to dance to and to kind of a good vibe. People all seem to know it, and the whole "Hey Now" call and response is just a good time live. So that was good. I think that Cold Rain, though, was my favorite part of that. Really, the whole first set. I just thought it was a really good version. I've always really liked that song. And I think that John Mayer does a good job on it with the high vocals. So that was good. Another highlight of that early part of the show was the next song, Ship of Fools. I don't remember from last year. I thought that Oteil sung that whole song last year, but this year it was like John would do part, then Oteil, then John, then Oteil. They were kind of trading back and forth, kind of like a la Jack Straw or something like that, where Jerry and Bob or John and Bob take different parts. Obviously there are a lot of Dead and Co songs that John and Bob do that with, but I can't think of any where it's an Oteil and John collab with the vocals. But it was good. It was a good version of Ship of Fools. Also, we've only listened to this show once. We don't have like probably a lot of deep analysis on this.
Right.
It's not on Nugsnet just yet. Hopefully it will be later today because there are a few songs I'd really like to re-listen to. The next song was Big River. That was fitting because we were literally on a river watching this show. So that I didn't think about it before when we were all in our Dead group chat predicting what songs were going to be played, but we should have known. But that was a good one. And then the crowd really liked that one quite a bit. And then Here Comes Sunshine, which the crowd really liked a lot. So you only caught the end of this one?
Yep. And going into Cassidy
Gotcha.
from here.
So did you catch some of the jam that they were working on? during Here Comes Sunshine?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I caught enough of it to where they went back in, like, and
Yeah.
then I knew it was Here Comes Sunshine.
To
So I think
conclude
so.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good. I I have not heard like a ton of Here Comes Sunshines, but it's not a rarity for them, really. But I don't think I've listened to very many of them. But I really like that song just as a general concern. And I thought that this was a good version, and it was unexpected. I just was not really thinking that that song was a possibility for the night, and so that was kind of cool. And then Cassidy. So we've talked about it. Not my favorite Dead song, but I thought this was a good version.
Yeah, I really liked how they really jammed it out.
Yeah.
Um, they they went in with a lot of space in Cassidy, and I thought it's one of the better versions of that song that I've heard.
Nice. I'd love to hear that. It's hard for me to really conceptualize or like contextualize, was this like the best version when you're in the venue, because
Yeah,
unless you've been to like, 30 or 40 shows, or maybe even less, maybe 10, 15, I think the experience of being there raises it a
it
level.
inflates it a little. Yeah,
Yeah. And
absolutely.
so, you have the communal joy of everyone around you being so happy to hear these songs, and you're so happy to be there and happy to hear it, and just kind of amazed at it because you're there, that it kind of bumps it up a level. At least for me in my mind. Now, with that being said, the second set, opener, Deal, I think is the best version of Deal I've ever heard them play.
Dude, that was smoking hot. And
Yeah.
the version we heard in Raleigh tour opener 2021, when we were there, I was like, that was amazing. That was the best. Um, this was better.
Well,
They went hot to start set two.
yes, I agree. I would like to kind of put some, albeit not the most accurate, but some metrics behind this. So I'm going to deadyversion.com. If you are unfamiliar with the website, Deady Version, you can vote on your favorite versions of Dead and Company songs. And I want
Hey,
to.
who made that?
This is my creation. I am not a web developer, so I apologize that it is, not like the most user friendly. I've tried to make it more user friendly recently, but definitely check it out. It's, I think, a interesting way to find versions of songs that you'll definitely like. There's some quality control. If a bunch of people are voting for it, you can be pretty reasonably confident that they'll be good versions. So the number one version is from Eugene, according to Deady Version, which is a very good version, and people
Yeah.
love that show for good reason. And so I think that also maybe is part of the reason. Raleigh has no votes, which surprises me.
Yeah. I mean, I get it that Eugene, Oregon show, that Deal is top tier. And I don't think the Raleigh one is better than that necessarily. Those is more to the point of like when you're in there, like it
Totally agree.
feels better.
I enjoyed it
But
more. I
yeah,
completely
this
agree with you. Yeah, because we were
back to
there.
this Cincy deal. I mean, Mayor just didn't stop. Like he kept pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. And I think it should be said that there was a new drummer on stage for set
Yes.
two as well.
Yes. So I'm not sure how much impact that has. Jay Lane was the kind of drummer in reserve who came out for the second set. Billy posted on Twitter and Instagram before the second set even began and said, I pulled a muscle in Boulder, and so I'm going to sit out. I think he said, I'm going to sit out part of the second set. He ended up sitting out the entire second set. And so he basically said, don't get worried about this. I'm not giving up this seat anytime soon. Jay Lane has been playing with Bob and with Dead related acts for 20 years, longer, almost 30 years, since the 90s, and Rat Dog. So he's more than capable. He's a great drummer. And I do wonder if he ratcheted up the tempo a little bit, because these were some fast versions in the second set, and it was great. But I do wonder about that. He's a great drummer, and he and Mayer were kind of doing some interplay where John was like just looking at him playing for a while, and Jay was really digging it. Not during this song, but during Shakedown. So that was kind of cool. But back to Deal. So this was 19 minutes long, this Deal.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like, it was like, no, this was like an honest 19-minute deal. It wasn't like 1813 or something like that. So So according to my research that I did, this is the longest deal that Dead and Company's ever played. It's the longest by 1 minute, granted. The version at the Gorge in 2019 was 18 minutes long. Last year, the version they played in Michigan was 15 minutes long, but this is the longest one they've ever played. They really jammed it out and opened it up. It was the set two opener once previously in Charlotte in 2019, but otherwise they've never opened set two with Deal except for that show and this one. So I was not expecting it.
Didn't they open a show this year? Set two with Deal?
I don't think so. Potentially,
I'll
but
double check real
yeah,
quick.
if you find it, then we can, we're live, so we can't like go back but we can correct that point.
Yeah, the first night at the Shoreline Amphitheater.
Oh, they opened
set two.
too?
They went Deal Dark Star.
Oh,
But
okay.
but other than that,
yeah, other than that,
usually a set one song for them.
Yeah, it's true. With Dead and Company, I found some where they played it in set two, but it would be the ones that I was seeing. It was like the second or third song in set two. So, I mean, still a rarity. Only 3 times out of their 180 plus shows. But yeah, they've played this song 46 times. It's one of the songs they've played the most of any song. And so for this to be the longest version, I think is kind of impressive. And I think that people really dug it because of that. I mean, the crowd reaction was just like phenomenal during this song. Everyone was dancing, everyone was smiling. It was great. And just a super hot version that John, like you said, like he was just like relentless. Like he was not going to let the jam go down,
I don't know about you. This is, I think, the song Dead and Company has the whole package on. This is their best work, I think, is Deal.
I think it's like, Althea, but I think
Althea, this is they do really well as well. Yeah.
I think this is in the conversation though. I think that like for me, the songs, I don't know. It's hard to say because like the big jam sets, the like big, longer jam set pieces, they also have a really good feel for some of those. But as far as like the songs that are more, I think, self-contained, like a song like Deal or like Althea or Brown Eyed Women, where it's like this song is going to be 8 to 10 minutes long, or maybe even shorter for Brown Eyed Women, and they're just going to play the hell out of it. I think those would be like the 3 songs in that category that I think that they just have like next level mastery over, personally. So great deal to open up the second set. I was so excited after that. I was like, this is going to be an amazing set. If they just played 20 minutes of Deal to start this off, and
what's coming next?
Yeah, it's not like I was looking at my watch or anything. It just felt like it was going forever, and I was loving it. I was like, keep it going, play it all night. I don't care. Don't even play any other songs. Play this into drums, and then after space, come back to Deal. So yeah, that was a great way to open the second set. And then from Deal, they went into Looks Like Rain. Another one that's like not my favorite Dead and Co song. I will admit I took a bathroom break during part of this song. And but from what I recall, I think it was fine. Any recollection of this song for you?
No, I was still cooling off from the Deal. So I was like, oh, okay, Looks Like Rain.
It was sandwiched between the 2 most memorable songs of the show for me. And so it kind of fades into history because after Looks Like Rain, we got into like the big jammy part of the second set. It wasn't like Looks Like Rain goes into St. Stephen. They took a break, then played St. Stephen. And I think this might be the best St. Stephen they've ever played. I mean, it was so good. The jam was like at times very like dense and knotty and just great. At part of it, I actually texted you and was like, did I just hear the 11 in this? Are you hearing that at home, or am I imagining it? And you were like, yeah, I don't know, maybe. And then they went into the William Tell Bridge, which I'd never heard. I'd never heard St. Stephen live, so obviously I hadn't heard the William Tell Bridge, but that was cool, really cool to hear live. Like I feel like there were some people who maybe just didn't know that song all that well, and we're kind of like, what the fuck is going on right now? What is this singing about William Tell? What's happening? But that was really cool. And then like naturally into the 11. which was so cool to hear live. Thought it was another great song that they played, a great version.
Excellent playing on the 11. Like everybody was locked in. And
Especially O'Teal, in my opinion.
yeah, I thought it was honestly, I thought it was Bob. Like he sounded good, at least coming through on the audio stream.
His what nows sounded awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
His voice
No, that was
sounded really
just
good all night.
that whole Saint Stephen into the 11. I was just sitting there just nodding my head the entire time. Like, wow, they are crushing this.
Yeah, they
And that's
were.
the second time this year they've paired those songs. So they're bringing back some Primal Dead this year, which is cool to see.
I love it. Yeah, I was really happy to hear that. Because you just mentioned Bob and like his voice sounded good and him sounding good throughout the show. I think that so like I thought that this crowd was great. This is probably, I think, of like any of the like dead related shows, even the Goose show that I went to last week. This is the best crowd I've been in a long time. People were like pretty locked in. There was a little bit of like chatting, chomping, if you will, going on in the first set, but in the second set, there really wasn't much of that at all. People were like really locked in and really kind of giving it back to the band. And I think that the band was picking up on that too for two reasons. Number one, Bob in the first set was like, "How are y'all doing tonight?" out of nowhere. And Mayor, you didn't see this because you weren't watching the live stream, and it was before you tuned in. But Mayor literally went like this. Like, what? Like, I didn't see that coming, and then didn't really know what to do with himself, I don't think, and started doing one of these moves, like worm arms, basically. So that was kind of hype. Everyone went nuts when that happened. And then the second thing is this second set is the longest second set they've played since Wrigley Field last year. And tied with that one, the longest second set they've played since 2018.
Wow.
Yeah. So they like really were going for it. And the set twos have been longer this year in general. Last year, they were like 145, 150. I looked at all of them today. This year, they've been pretty much like in the 2 hour range, like maybe give or take 3-4 minutes. This one was 2 hours and 5 minutes. So it was a little bit longer. But I think that like that level of like energy and playing for that long is a reflection of an energetic crowd that was super happy to be there and really kind of locked in with the band. Maybe I'm reading too much into that, but that's my story and I'm sticking to it.
Nice.
From Primal Dead, we went into late 70s Dead and got a Shakedown Street, which was the fastest pace I've ever heard them play Shakedown Street as Dead and Company. It sounded awesome, got really funky. The jam was really good. I thought it was a really good version. What did you think?
I was just shocked, like that, they go into it and I was like, here? Like this late in set two?
I think you texted me and said that. Like,
yeah,
whoa,
like just whoa,
where did this
what?
come from? Yeah.
So yeah, just kind of in shock. We don't have too much time left, so you
Yeah.
were there. Give me your thoughts on the rest of the 5 or 6 songs.
Drums in Space were good. The drums now is like O'Teal is on stage the whole time during drums, which was cool. And then Jay, the other drummer who was sitting in for Billy, stepped off. And then it was just O'Teal on the bass and Mickey on the beam for like the beginning of Space for a few minutes. And then the band came back out, did their, Space thing. Not a, I mean, some people were like taking bathroom breaks and a lot of people were like laying down, at least on the lawn at that point, but people were still pretty with it. Then into From Space into I Need a Miracle, which was completely unexpected for me. And I thought that it was really good. And then into Death Don't Have No Mercy, which was great. We heard it live in Raleigh last year. It was just as good last night. And then from Death Don't into Sugar Mag to close the set, which was fantastic. Great energy on that song. Really fun to hear live. And this Sunshine Daydream part was super fun to hear live. And then the encore, they like really didn't even leave the stage between finishing that and the encore. I think they were running up against the time limit because I looked at my watch and it was like 11:57 when they were finishing Sugar Mag. And I was like, man, they might not even do an encore if there's, an 11 o'clock curfew or something, but they just kept playing. They played for another 7 minutes in Black Muddy River, which was great. I told you before I went that I thought they were going to play that song because it was rainy, muddy, and we were on a river. And sure enough, there it was. So the relative rarities that they played. I mentioned this earlier. Ship of Fools, I Need a Miracle, the 11, obviously the William Tell Bridge, they don't play that very often. Death Don't Have No Mercy, Iko Iko, Looks Like Rain, and Big River. All 8 of those songs are outside of their 60 most frequently played songs for Dead and Company. So you can think about it this way. They've played 184 shows, like I said. None of those songs have they played more than 25 times. So all of them, you know, I don't remember exactly how many dates this tour is. I think 21 or 22. Those are all songs that you might only hear twice, 3 times, maybe max on a tour. And all of them were played last night. Really eclectic and unique and cool set list. So like you were saying at the very beginning of this, like what they're doing with the set list this year is really, really cool. And I think when you couple that with the fact that they're also playing really well, it just makes it like kind of must watch. If they come near you, get out and see these guys, especially a night like last night where Billy doesn't come back for set 2. You know, I know he
Yeah.
said he's not giving up the seat anytime soon, but he is in his 80s. Like, treat every show like it's the last, because it really could be. And I know that that's part of why you and I are so excited to be going on July 16th to Citi Field to watch the last show of the tour.
Come
So
find us. We'll be wearing the matching shirts. We might have stickers to give away.
we'll definitely have stickers to give away. Yeah. And, you know, high fives, daps, whatever. So yeah, come find us in New York. If I met you in Cincinnati last night, I can tell you universally, I had a great time talking with you and meeting you. No bad vibes from anyone that I spoke with. So thank you for, if I did meet you there, for saying hi, for talking to me, and you know, for going to the show and enjoying it, because like I said, that crowd was great. Great crowd. Great show. Part of a great tour. So that's it. That's it for us. Anything else before we go away, Dave?
I don't think so.
All right. Well,
Next episode, July 5th.
Next episode, July 5th. And until then, we bid you good night.